Hello, my name is Gryziec, and I'm the Chief Product Officer for Skye. Skye provides a native identity governance and administration application for the Now platform. This includes identity management, access provisioning, and reviews. And today we're going to focus on the application catalog, where you can go to request access across your entire enterprise. So to get started, we'll go ahead and click over to our ServiceNow portal. This is an extremely familiar, out-of-box ServiceNow portal. Has all of the different things that you would imagine, like requesting things through the service catalog, being able to get a laptop or a computer, being able to look up knowledge or policies or procedures, being able to submit tickets in case you're having trouble with your computer. And here you can see that we can also request access using Skye's IGA. So when I go ahead and click into the request access, in that same portal I'm brought to an access catalog. This will include all access across the entire enterprise. This could be application access, infrastructure access, it could be in IT or outside of IT, even physical access can be put in there to certain offices or locations. We can navigate the catalog in different ways. There's an easy search at the top, so if you want to search by keywords or by title. We can use categories to group the different access and even show different access depending on the context of the user who's looking at it. We can also use a tag system to be able to group and categorize different pieces of access that way. In this case, I'll go ahead and select a category. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the ServiceNow category. So here I go ahead and click on ServiceNow, and that'll give me all the ServiceNow applications and access that I can request. Like I said before, we can also use tags in tandem with either a search or a categorization. So here I'll go ahead and pick one for security. And as you'd imagine, we have a few security apps. We have Governance, Risk, and Compliance, GRC, and we also have the Skye IGA application. Skye is a fully featured enterprise identity governance and administration solution. And if I want the different roles within this application, I can just go ahead and click on it and then see the different available roles for Skye IGA. From here, I can go deeper and say that maybe I just need Access Review Admin. So I can go ahead and click on Access Review Admin, which then shows me additional detail about that specific role. I can upload screenshots and be able to navigate through them to ensure that I'm giving confidence in what I'm going to be requesting. If this is for one of my teammates or I'd like to share this access, I can also click on the share button and send that URL to one of my teammates, which will bring them directly to this item. They don't need to go and navigate and find it within the application itself. So here I can go ahead and add this to cart. And once I've added several items to my cart, I can go ahead and check out. So I'll go ahead and click over to the cart. And here you can see some just basic questions. I can order this for someone else. I can specify a date range for access. So if I'm only going to be doing reviews for the next 7 days, no need to maintain that access. When I need it again, I can just request it. So maybe we're going to be initiating quarterly reviews. So I only do this once every 90 days, and when I need it, I can request it, and when I no longer need it, it'll just go away. So at this point, I can go ahead and submit my request. If I wanted to add multiple items and check out all at once, that's also supported. This is just a basic example to show the different capabilities of the Access Catalog. So here I'll go ahead and submit that request, hit OK, and at this point I can track the request just as you would from your Amazon checkout, tracking things through UPS or other types of delivery services that we've all come accustomed to. So if I go checkout, I can see all of my active requests, or I could decide to go back to my inactive requests and look at historical data also. From here I can click into the request I just made, where we can see it's a membership ad and it was requested about a minute ago. So if I go ahead and click in, this is going to give me the details of that request. I can see who I'm waiting on approval for, and I can see any other details that are relevant to the request. This can all be driven by workflow or a set of rules and policies that can be configured within the Skye IGA application. If I need to communicate back and forth with my approver, I can also do that here and upload any evidence that may be necessary as part of my access request. Now, if I want to dig in deeper and look at the details of a certain stage, as we can see up above, I'm currently in the pending stage for approval. And if I want to know exactly where I am there, I can go ahead and click in and see who I'm waiting on. In this case, it's Vaughn. If he goes ahead and approves, this will update itself. So let's go ahead and switch over to Vaughn's screen and make sure that we approve it from the administrative console. So just going to go ahead and switch over. And here we can see the Clear Skye IGA dashboard where we're monitoring all different types of requests, not just the access requests that are being made here, but those identity requests, membership removes, reviews, all of the different activities that may be going on within an IGA context. But we're going to go ahead and focus on the requests here. So I'll go ahead and click into the 318 active requests. And we can see here that I have one request at the top, which is my Clear Skye Access Review Admin request. And I'll go ahead and click into that. So this acts as your audit evidence within the request itself. And it's probably a very familiar interface. It's all native to ServiceNow. So the same tickets that your users and your IT individuals are used to working today are the same tickets that you can use to approve and track your requests and audit those requests. We see all the details about the request, the entitlements, the reason for the entitlements, and I could go ahead and approve this request at this point. Now also keep in mind, these are the same approvals that ServiceNow uses. So if you want to send this through notification, if you want users to approve from their portal, all of those capabilities are also supported within the Clear Skye IGA application. So here I'll go ahead and approve that. And then if I switch back to TJ's view, I can see that this is going to be updated or refresh. And now I can see that it's been approved and we're good to go. So in just a second, it will go ahead and provision that access for me. And we should be able to refresh and just validate that that change has gone through and we're moving forward. So just do a quick refresh and it looks like that one went into manual activities, which is perfectly fine. It should be completed shortly. And we should be able to even see who that got sent to if we needed to. Now, that's all great. It's a lot of easy way to request that access, but oftentimes the question then becomes, what does it take to administer? How do we get new applications onboarded? What's the time to do that? And so the second part of this demo is really about onboarding one of these applications, going through the governance activities and validating. And so I think I could do it in the next 3 minutes, make this a 10-minute demo. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Add App at the top. This can be defined based on a role, so certain populations can go ahead and add apps. And from here, you can see that we're brought to a form for all of those basic details. So the way that I'm going to onboard an application today is by going over to the ServiceNow store and looking at an application and its details. So here you can see an application for learning management called Platcore. So what I'm going to do is just copy all the details that are here. For example, if we had just bought Platcore and wanted to implement a new learning management for all of our end users, and they needed to request access to either be a learner or an administrator, they would then be able to go to the access catalog. So here you can see I'll just go ahead and copy these details, but before I do that, I'm just going to grab some of these images. So take this one and drop it over here, go ahead and click and possibly grab some of these also. So these are going to help add to the content that we provide to end users. And I'm also looking for this one because I'll show that we can also do GIFs and really bring the access catalog item to life. So let me go ahead and close this. We have a few pictures and then I'm going to just start copying details. So it looks like I have a little under 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and see how quickly we can get this done. So I'll go ahead and copy my Platcore LMS. We'll go ahead and just take the exact details that us as IT individuals are used to reading, but often doesn't get translated down to the end user experience. This is often replaced with a 1 or 2 word description, but not anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my logo. We'll drop that on there. We can also provide terms of conditions if we needed to. And then I'll also drag those other 2 images and upload those also. So now we have a GIF and also an image that'll be uploaded. Here we could define the person who owns this application, defaults to ourselves. We could define a support group, so for whatever reason, if the app goes down or the access needs to be provisioned manually, who would we go ahead and use to support that? We could specify categorization, things like learning. And then we can also specify tags. So if you wanted to go ahead and specify workflow or security, depending on what type of training that is. And these can also be expanded depending on your organization's needs. So maybe we also have compliance within our training system. There's additional fields that we can provide, but because we're short on time today, I'm just going to skip past that last one. So here I'll go ahead and hit next, and then we can set up an approval very easily. So these approvals can be up to 5 stages, and multiple approvers can be in a single stage. You could do things like requesters manager, or entitlement owner, or department cost center. We could specify things like individual users or groups. So maybe if there's a learning or account operators group that we want to include in approving access to receive this application. Then the next step is where we can take the abstraction or the application itself and connect it to our downstream systems. So any integrated system within the ClearSky IGA application and their entitlements can be used to build applications. And in this case, we can narrow down by things like Active Directory or Azure AD or any of the connected systems we're supporting. In this case, this is a ServiceNow application, so I'll go ahead and specify that. And then in the environment, we'll go ahead and pick Demo 3. Now this means that you can actually connect multiple instances of ServiceNow, your dev, test, prod, different domains of Active Directory, etc. And we can also support the classification of types of access, including roles, security, permissions, etc. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and define a security group. Now, because I don't have one of these really set up in this lab environment, I'll just pick one of these, which we'll go ahead and apply. So in this case, catalog requester approvers for sales. Now, of course, when you are doing a live demo, you would have your real entitlements and you would associate those. So the last part is going next. So we could go ahead and track what the results are of our summary, in this case, Platcore LMS, what we're going to assign, different approvals. And if we wanted to go a step further, we can always just click on the bundle and add another role to our Platcore LMS application. In this case, I'll go ahead and do a basic example. We'll come back in a future video and show more complex examples. But at this point, I'll go ahead and submit my request, and now we're good to go. But just like any app store or access catalog, just like ServiceNow store in the ClearSky IGA application, there's going to be a need to get approval for publishing that to the access catalog. So let's go ahead and switch back over to Vaughn's account and take a look at what that approval looks like. So here I can go back to my homepage, which I'll go ahead and click on. And then within my homepage, I'm just going to go ahead and click back to those requests. So in the same queue that you saw previously, we have made the request for the Access Review admin. We can also track those requests for new applications being published to the catalog. So I'll go ahead and open up my request. And then from here, very familiar interface, all of the details that were provided, reviews, approvals, entitlements, and where those things are can then be approved by the identity team, ensuring that we're following all the regulations and compliance needs. In this case, I had specified the wrong one, so they can decide to update this or reject the request and force me to resubmit. So at this point, I'll go ahead and approve this request. And the next thing we can do is just go back to our Access catalog. And once I refresh the catalog, that application is available to us. So if I just type Platcore at the top, I should be able to see that it navigates down to the Platcore. We have our learning management. And like you see, I can actually navigate through and look at those GIFs even inside the item itself. I can add it to cart. And once I go ahead and go back to my cart, just like we did that first one, I can then request it. So within about 5 minutes, I was able to onboard, integrate, and set up all of the compliance activities needed for managing the access. So let me go ahead and submit my final request. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.